Oh, wonderful. Blessed love to each and every one. We're thankful for your presence, Tiger's Nest, in full effect, glorifying Haile Selassie the first. Of course, you know, the Honorable Priest Isaac here with you, your humble servant for this moment. And as always, a wonderful program. We're going to spend a little time this moment, this hour is actually the uprising of the morning, preparation for the Sabbath. But we're going to be speaking of the event in the next 7 days, not just the full moon as such, you know, but the Earth Day of Emperor Haile Selassie I and how it's connected with the full moon, and of course, the whole concept of the Lion of Judah and the constellation of Leo. And I'm telling you that this program was sparked because of a question that I received in the comments. I must say, a very intelligent question. In fact, I was honored to receive such a question, and I said I must respond. But before we go to the depths of that, let me just highlight for you once again the 24th day of July. We're talking about 2021. We will be beginning a series of lectures, online lectures, entitled The Living Gods of Kemet. This is going to be marvelous. And we're beginning with the duel of Tutankhamun and Akhenaten. So this is online, and it definitely will be broadcast on the YouTube platform for sure. You will also be able to see it on the Facebook platform and the link on the Instagram platform. For sure, this is Saturday the 24th, July 2021, 7 p.m. sharp on the YouTube platform for sure. It will be premiering, and this is just part one. After you see part one, man, you don't even need to see part one. You know what's going on. But for sure, part two, we will be highlighting Samenkare, and I've been stressing that's one you definitely don't want to miss. And the third one, Remesu the second. So it's going to be a blast, as I said, for sure. Check us, Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge on Facebook and the Institute of Holistic Knowledge on the Instagram. All right. Now, where are we here? I want to highlight something here for you. This is some information I have here. Well, not information really, it was a question. So it's a question I'm really responding to. Now, I'm just visiting, this is my YouTube platform. You definitely can visit the YouTube platform. You know what to do. You subscribe and make sure you put on the notification bell, so even when we go live with the gods of Kemet, you ain't going to be left behind and come in the middle of the program. But anyway, this is in relation to the previous program that we did. July 23rd, Sabbath full moon will not be in Aquarius. Astrologists say that they have it wrong. And really, we were reading from this article here that came from, I don't even remember, the Astrology King, yes. And the editor of this article was speaking about, yes, the sign will be in Aquarius. Look at it here, the full moon of July 2021 is in the sign of Aquarius, but the star map below shows it is actually located between the constellation of Sagittarius and Capricorn. This discrepancy is due to the precession of the equinoxes. It has moved the sun sign almost a whole sign out of alignment with the constellations from which they were named over 2,000 years ago. Okay, now for sure, as I said, that's the previous program. You could see it right here. You yourself can go and watch it if you did not get to see the program itself. But the point I'm making here now is that we received a question, and this is from Roshika Brown. And Roshika Brown asks, priests, if the sun is in Leo, shouldn't the full moon be in Aquarius? That is a marvelous question. I am telling you, you know, it touched my heart because it shows that this individual, number one, is thinking and has an understanding of what we have been speaking about for such time. So what I'm saying now, again, So the full moon will be considered an Aquarius moon. I want to get this point. We're going to the sky chart in a moment. But listen to me. The full moon will be considered an Aquarius moon. In fact, let me go for our book now. I'm talking about The Heavens Declare the Glory. If you do not have a copy of The Heavens Declare the Glory, well, I mean, you should get a copy of The Heavens Declare the Glory, Rastafari and the Cosmos. And for sure, you know, you could just email me, priestisaac27@gmail.com, and you could get a copy for sure, or you could go through the Amazon way. It's definitely up to you. All right. Now, this is perfect. If you look here, this is in our book here. This is just page 3 at the beginning of the book. You get an understanding of how the zodiac constellations would appear from our vantage point. Remember, this is all apparent. I have to stress this sometimes. This is all apparent. And even in the book, you see us speak of the 2160 year within the precession and of the equinoxes. Some professors don't like to use the term precession of the equinoxes. They say just call it precession. You know, and 1 degree every 72 years, you know, and so the sun appears to move anti-clockwise from one constellation to the other constellation. Example, from the age of Aries to the age of Pisces. And that is in our book. This is The Heavens Declare the Glory. So you get a good understanding of exactly how the heavens is moving. All right. But I'm showing you now. You could get a copy of the book for sure and go through that in depth. But what I'm showing you here is, I jumped a bit there, how you could see the alignment with Leo and Aquarius. So the question now that Roshika is asking is that, listen, look at it here. This is planet Earth. You can see it, planet Earth and the sun. So the Leo is in the background. So looking from the Earth through the sun, it would appear as if Leo is like inside of the sun. Whenever this is happening, this is how it would look. So on the opposite side, the constellation that is opposite of Leo is Aquarius. Just as you see here, the constellation that's opposite of Leo is Aquarius. And this is why now, at times you would hear me do these programs, speaking of where the new moon is, and speaking of where the full moon is. Listen to me good. This is very important. When it's a new moon, wherever the sun is as it relates to constellation, that is where the moon is, because it's a new moon. When it's a new moon, the moon is right here between the sun and the earth. When it's a full moon, the moon is on the opposite side of the sun as it relates to the earth. So in other words, when it's a full moon, that is when the sun is setting and the moon is rising at the same time. Let me repeat. On a full moon, the sun is setting and the moon is rising at the same time. On a new moon, the sun and the moon are together. Follow me good, very, very important. Now you may not see the moon on the new moon because of the brightness of the sun and the whole, you know, drama that is taking place. But for sure it's there. It's not on the same degree, or else you would have an eclipse. So that happens every now and again. This is a deep, deep science, you know. Well, let us concentrate on the full moon. When the sun sets, the full moon rises. Good. So that means wherever the sun is as it relates to the constellation, the full moon should be in the opposite constellation. So the question that was asked was a very, 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 very good question. That if the sun, see the sun here, is in Leo on the 23rd, because the 23rd is the day we're talking about. We're talking about the 23rd day of July. It's a full moon on the 23rd day of July. Some saying 24th, but it's the 23rd, going into the 24th. But you don't know that whole time is the season of the full moon. Good. On that day, That is the Earth Day, the 129th Earth Day of Emperor Haile Selassie I. You understand? Good. And as I said, ones are saying that that is an Aquarius moon. So if it was really an Aquarius moon, for real, that means the sun should really be in the constellation of the Leo, the lion, on that day, because they are exactly across from each other on the zodiac belt circle. You could see it here. Look at the line drawing it from here, from Leo to Aquarius. So in other words, if it was a full moon and the sun was in Virgo, the moon is supposed to be in Pisces because it's just perfectly across. If it was a full moon and the sun was in a constellation like whatever it is, that is on the opposite side, whatever the opposite side is. If it's Gemini, the opposite side would be Sagittarius. That is the whole energy thereof. If it's Libra, the opposite side would be Aries. Wherever the full moon is, the sun would be on the opposite constellation. But when it's in a new moon, they should be in the same constellation. And that is just how the heavens work. This is not a religion. This is not belief. This is definitely not stargazing. Don't try to pull no scripture and say, oh, astrologers and stargazers, that ain't got nothing to do with me. This is understanding the mechanics of how the heavens move. I see one still be bringing up flat earth. Hey, this don't even have nothing to do with that. Trust me, believe me, when you go out and you look up in the heavens, whatever the shape of the earth is, it's the same thing you see happening. And at least, don't worry about that part, at least understand the movements of the heavens. However you shape it, at least take the time to understand the movements of the heavens, because whatever shape you give to it, it is moving and it is alive and it is portraying something. All right, now let me just make sure you were seeing all that. Okay, yes, you were. Good. Now, let us go to the heavens now with a clearer comprehension of where we are. Now, let me just make sure you're seeing this. All right, good. So this is our stellarium chart. And this is right now. We're doing this recording, time is it? In the morning, 7:27, and the 16th day of July, you understand. Good. So if you look at this here now, you could see in the east, you see the moon is coming up there, just somewhere behind the sun. The sun is going up. As I said, today is the 16th of July. So in a few days, around the 23rd, we should be going into the full moon, 23rd day of July. This is around the time when the sign of Leo begins. Do you know what I'm talking about? Now, let me say this as a Rastafari now. As a Rastafari, first of all, let me make sure you can see the heavens. What we're going to do, we take away the background of light, so the stars appear. It's still the day. Let me tell you, this is still day. And this is the time that we are dealing with. And then I'm going to take out the earth so you get a better view of the sky. Then we're going to bring in the lines that highlight the constellation. So the moon is in Virgo. You see there? That's Virgo. The moon is in Virgo right now. Now, as I'm speaking to you, the moon is in Virgo. But for those who may not pick up the lines, we bring in the actual, drawing artwork. Bam. So this is what most people are accustomed to. But you see how we got there. But how we are accustomed to it, again, you take out the artwork. Bam, you know it by lines. That's very good. If you could know it by lines, it's good. If you could take the lines out now and you could still identify the constellation, that is wonderful. I mean, you're a real pro if you could take out the darkness and look out there in the daylight and said, hey, the moon is in Virgo right here. How you know that? Because of its distance from the sun at this time of the year, and you do the mathematics. That's the levels that we all should, try to attain to, because it's the heavens declaring the glory of the Most High. This is the original book All right. So this is just a real-time story here, what is taking place. All right. So I was saying that the Leo constellation now, on the 23rd, we are supposed to be going into the season of Leo, not the age of Leo now, you know. An age is like 2,160 years apart. We have a thing that we deal with called the zodiac, the horoscope and the astro guide, and which time rules over which time depending on when you were born and all of these different things. So in other words, from if I'm not mistaken, now let me make sure I have this correct, from February the 21st to March the 21st, I think that's Pisces, if I'm not mistaken. Or from, yes, then from March the 22nd to April the 21st, somewhere thereabouts, would be, I think, Aquarius. And then from April 22nd to May 21st would be the next sign going up the line, and so forth, which would bring you back right to July 23rd. Now on July 23rd, this is the time of Leo. So if you were born on July 23rd, if you were born on July 24th, if you were born on July 25th, if you were born on August 2nd, if you were born on August 10th, if you were born on August 14th, if you were born on August 17th, if you were born on August 19th, you are considered a Leo. Do you follow me? You are considered a Leo. Why are you considered a Leo if you were born at that time? How do you bring that connection? What makes you a Leo? Well, it has to do with my sign. Which sign? My zodiac sign. Where do you find the zodiac sign? What is a zodiac sign? Does most people that follow this, do they know exactly what a zodiac sign is? The zodiac signs come from the zodiac constellations. And these constellations, again, are the constellations in which the sun, the moon, and the planets pass through. All the planets that you can see pass through the zodiac belt constellations. The moon in its movement passes through the zodiac belt constellations. The sun passes through the zodiac belt constellations in their time. They all have a different time as it relates to their movements. And as I said, this ain't got nothing to do with what the shape of the earth is. This is what you see with your eyes when you go out and look. This is not make-believe. So I'm showing you now, with that comprehension as the movements of the sun and the moon, that is why there's a story being told in the heavens. All right, again, the constellation of Leo. I agree, there is a constellation of Leo. Good, you are a Leo. What does the sun have to do with Leo during your time of birth? How is it that you came to the conclusion that you are a Leo? Why aren't you a Cancer? Why aren't you a Gemini? Why aren't you a Taurus? How are you so sure? You have to be able to explain why you are a Leo. Even as it relates to Emperor Haile Selassie I, the living I am, born the 23rd day of July. That is one of the mystics that stand out about the king, that on that day, outside of the fact that it brought to an end 7 years of famine and drought and the rains that came down and all of these things, outside of all of that, one of the mystics that stand out about that day, the birth of the king, is that he was born on the 23rd day of July. And that, again, according to the Pisces age, and I'm going to get serious with the language. Listen good. According to the age of Pisces, listen again. According to the age of Pisces, the 23rd day of July is the beginning of the sign of Leo. Now, it's a correct statement, but to just jump up and say, well, at this time, the sun is going to be in Leo is a very misleading statement, extremely misleading. Now, this is the point I'm making, and I have been making, pardon me, for the time. This is what astrology brings to the table. You understand? Something that is not definitely accurate, and that previous program that we did clearly shows that the vibration is totally off. And I will repeat, it doesn't take away from the value of understanding the power of the heavenly bodies as it relates to the position at a specific time. No, I'm not, negating that at all. But again, if it's not coupled with sound, proper mathematics, celestial geometry, and obviously astronomy, it is definitely going to be off. The readings will be off. We're not saying this to antagonize no one. We're actually saying this so ones could be clear with what's going on. And that is why I'm so happy that we got that question. And now I'm going to highlight exactly, the reasoning and why we touched that question, and we're going to answer it now. Now, this is now, let me go for my clock here. In fact, let me set the position properly where we are. Okay, that will work. But this is now. This is now 7:37. Well, that is where I am. So let me set the direction. So if you have the stellarium, you can practice with it. Put ourselves right here in the Caribbean, northeastern section of the Caribbean. All right. And get back to the time. Now, as I said, this is where we are located, but it doesn't make a difference. The heavens is still the heavens. So as I said, if you look good, you will notice that it appears as if Gemini, the sun is in Gemini at this moment. Now, the constellation of Gemini itself is a twin, and Gemini is the most northern constellation at this moment in the ecliptic belt as far as the degrees goes with the celestial, what we'll call latitude for the moment. All right. Now, if you observe, as I said, today is the 16th. I just want you to watch. This is the time here. This is 2021, and the seventh month, pardon me, 16th day. So if we go forward, you notice the sun is actually moving there. As the days go forward, the sun would move. That's the 20th, that's the 21st, that's the 22nd, that's the 23rd. Look at that. Oh, that is so beautiful. All right. Now, you will notice that the sun is actually in the constellation, very close to, or going into the constellation of the crab, as they call it, which is Cancer. Now, this is on the 23rd day of July. Now, you may say to yourself, but wait, if the 23rd day of July is the beginning of Leo, why is it that the sun is in the constellation of the crab, Cancer? I am not a Cancer. I was born the 26th of July. I was born the 30th of July. Me on third born of August. How is it that the sun is related to the crab? Me and no crab. I'm a lion. The man said them is lion. I ain't no lion. They vexed to find out that them is a crab. No, man, priest, your thing wrong. Take it easy now, what my thing. I tell you, I only, if you notice, when we started, we were in broad daylight. I took off the light of the sky so you could see the twinkle, twinkle little stars. We draw the little lines so you could see what is what. And then we put pictures which we don't use, just that the audience would be in a position to follow us as we go along, So in other words, we don't depend on this thing here. We can look in the sky with our eyes and see the very same thing even during the day. I'm very serious. Remember, just like how somebody read a chapter a day, we read a chapter a day. So it's not like what we believe or what Madam so-and-so said. This is first-hand account we give into the eye. So this is happening today. This is where the sun is right now, at least for the 23rd. Let me show you where the sun is right now again. Watch it good. Today's what? The 13th? No, the 14th? The 16th. Bam. Look at it, the 16th. That's where the sun is. No, no, no. The sun is just coming out of Gemini. Okay. So in other words, right now we're in the season of Cancer. That's what it said. We're in the season of Cancer. And Cancer is supposed to end about the 20th, 21st, 22nd of July. All right, that's now. All right, good. So if you notice, the sun on the 22nd of July will be very close, just entering into Cancer. But that is the end of the age or the season, not the age, the season of Cancer. So everybody that born between that time, they're considered Cancer. People now that is going to be born July 23rd and backwards, they're considered Leo. How does that work? Because this is how it's set up. This is not me. This is the way that it's set up. That where the sun is, which is on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, the constellation that it's heading to is the constellation that they stamp the season with. So in other words, the sun will be coming out of Cancer, going towards Leo, the lion. And this is why when it comes to August now, around the 21st day of August, that is when the Leo season has come to an end. But that is the time that the sun is actually going into Leo. Now, it's not about this being off, you know. That is exactly what it's supposed to be. Let me repeat. It's not about this being off. In fact, this doesn't really have to do with the precession of the equinoxes as yet. We don't reach there yet. That is the idea of your horoscope. It's not my opinion. That's what the horoscope is about. Just a lot of people are not aware of it. I want to repeat it. This is not me trying to show you somebody's wrong. Listen, I'm not trying to say, oh, astrologer's wrong here. This is not my point. My point is the understanding of your astro guide, your horoscope. The understanding is that the sign that is from 21st of one month to the 21st of the other month, whatever the sign is, at the beginning, the sun is not in that sign. The sun is in the previous sign, going towards that sign. So when the sign of Leo begins, the sun is not in Leo. Listen to me. The sun would be in the previous constellation, which is Cancer, and it will be on its way to Leo. So at the end of the sign of Leo, the sun is supposed to be in Leo. Do you follow me? And then at the end of the sign of Leo, because remember the sign end today and a new sign begin at midnight tomorrow and all of that. The heavens don't really work like that. The heavens is a science, it's a period, it's an energy. We just say, oh, it's midnight now. So if you're born 5, so twins now. So twins being born at the hospital. You know? And it's the night of the 22nd of July. And one twin come out 11:55. That's a Cancer. And then the next twin born 12:05, 10 minutes after. That's a Leo. Now, obviously, you see, that's how Babylon set up the thing and time and midnight and all of that, and totally off, just way off. It's obvious that those two must be sharing some energy. I agree, and midnight have an energy too, before and after. All of that is science. But what about the concept that the day really begin when the sun set? And we're dealing with two factions of the same day. Come on, this is deep. If we're that serious about our sign, and I wasn't born yesterday, I was born today, and all of that. If we are that serious, this is why understanding how the heavens work is important. Now, again, we're not trying to, this is not against, this is showing you who may not know what your astro guide and what your zodiac sign stuff and when you're born, how it really works. That's the point. That's really what this is about. You understand? You get the vibes. So when it comes down now to the science, from August now, we're going into what? September. And the science is very deep even there. Because going into the next side, the next sign now, again, coming out of Leo, you go into what? You go into Virgo, coming out of Leo. So when you come out of Leo, going into Virgo, you know, when those of you who are Virgo there, those of you who consider yourself Virgo, good, very good. If you were born, let's just say, late in August, the sun for sure is not in Virgo. But going into September, the sun will be coming out of Leo, going into Virgo. So at the end of the sign of Virgo for that month, the sun should be in Virgo. That is how it goes. So if whatever sign you think you are, or you say you are, or you are, at the beginning of that sign, the sun is not in the constellation that governs the sign. You follow me? It's at the end of the sign. So in fact, to be honest, when you are, say you are a Cancer then, it's really at the end of the Cancer season, you know, when the sun really inside of Cancer. In the Pisces age, this is very important, at its peak. Very important language too. So if you are a Leo, in reality, it's at the end of that month of Leo where the sun would be really in Leo, the constellation. But at the beginning, it would be in another constellation, as you can see right now. It would be in the Crab, on its way to Leo. Now, that is how it's set up. I'm not saying that it's off and the astrologers reading the clock wrong. No, no. Whether they read it wrong or right, that's the science, again, of your zodiac astro guide and your horoscope business. That is how it is set up. Good. Now, in my book, this is me. Yo, where the sun is when you were born, whatever you call yourself, is the powerhouse. I was born the 2nd of January. I'm considered a Capricorn. The sun was nowhere close. You know where the sun was when I was born? The sun was inside of the head of Sagittarius, the Archer. What are you talking about? You can say what you want. Remember, we come to change this and we don't follow astrologers and put on the radio at 7:55. Let's hear what the astrologers have to say today. No. All right. Now, one other thing before we get to the Aquarius thing with the full moon, just before, and I'm sure everyone comprehends this. This is just a teaching lesson. It's not no debate. We ain't arguing with anyone. We just trying to show you nice little vibes here. All right. Now, and this is why I'm showing you, we are still in the Pisces age. We are feeding a lot of energy from the Pisces age. I know a lot of you romantically want to be in the Aquarius age. I don't know what to, just take it easy. Science we're dealing with. We are feeding from at least 65% of the Pisces age and about 35% of the Aquarius age, which is a lot. Those are the only two ages that we're feeding from now. This is deep, eh? We have passed the apex of the Pisces age, that's for sure. We are on our way out now, that's for sure. We are going into the Aquarius age, that's for sure. But that can't happen overnight. You cannot tell me the Aquarius age began on the 21st day of December 2012. That's not how it goes. This is not, no, man. This is a long process. The sun moves 1 degree every 72 years, fam. That's not how it goes. It's a science. But anyway, 2021, I'm going to shave off just 1,000 years off of this. Bam. Okay, that's 1021. Let me shave off maybe 700 years. Okay, good. Now, what that is showing you here, we're living in a mystic time right now. And when you understand, I know again, a lot of ones, and I want you to follow this good. Oh my, pardon me. A lot of ones would be very deep into the Aquarius age concept. And I would repeat, we are feeding. There's nothing wrong. Trust me, we are feeding heavily off of the Aquarius age, but we're not in the Aquarius age. You can't just get in the Aquarius age. And even when you're in the Aquarius age, you still will be feeding off of Pisces age energy. And then after about 800 years, you will apex the Aquarius age. And then when you start to go down the mountain of the Aquarius age, you're going to start to feed off of the next constellation that is after Aquarius going up the line. That is how the science goes with understanding. Now, I'm showing you which is the next constellation after Aquarius. But anyway, that's the next age after Aquarius. So which I think that should bring you to Capricorn. So you're gone into a Capricorn age now. You understand? But that's the point. Now, this is 1721. Look at the date. 1721. That's a couple of hundred years ago. If you notice, this is the 23rd day of July. If you notice here, the sun is a bit more central inside of the constellation of the Crab than it is now. In fact, now it's a little bit out of where it is here. Because at that time, we were more at the apex of the Pisces age than now. That is why I'm trying to show the family, yes, we are coming out of the Pisces age, that's for sure. But it's not as if we're not in the Pisces age, we're in the Aquarius age. No, that's not the argument. At least if what an age is, the heavens doesn't say that. Where the sun is on the 21st of March is what age you're in. That is just it. Good. And because of the heavens, the movements of the sun from one constellation to the others, and just observing that even in the night, you see what that brethren asked, the sister asked. Well, I think it is a sister still. No disrespect at all, I hope. But concerning the moon, what's her name? Shanika, right? Yeah, that don't sound like a man. I mean, I don't feel that way. But anyway, yeah, that is how. When you cannot read the stars in the day, when you don't know where the sun is in the day, all you have to do is wait for the night and observe where the full moon is. And wherever the full moon is in the night, the sun is in the opposite constellation in the day. That is exactly what it is. All right. So that is then. Look at that, the time, 1721. You see where the sun is in the constellation of Cancer on the 23rd day of July. Now we're going to put it right to now's time. Bam, this is now time. Same time, 16th day, pardon me, 16th day of July, today. Same time, you notice where the sun is. Now I'm just showing you that to let you see that over a period of years, not getting too heavy with the maths with you. I'm just trying to show you simply that over the period of years, so we have about 300 years there difference. You could see where the sun moves from one area to the other area in as far as where it is at this time. What I just showed you ago, about 300 years, was the same day, the same time. So whatever day today was, the 16th, 7:55, that's the same time 300 years ago, and you saw the sun in the crowd. But now 300 years after, same day, same time, the sun is in a different spot. So I'm just trying to show you that it took the sun a while before it came to this spot here. Over the years, at the same day, same time, the sun would have moved slowly but surely away to another aspect of the zodiac belt constellation. So the point is, that the heavens is alive. That's the main point. The heavens is alive. It doesn't stay still. It doesn't, it doesn't look the same, especially as it relates to the sun in the zodiac constellations. It doesn't look the same every 500 years. You're going to come back 500 years at the same time and look up. It's going to be slightly off. That's my point. Hear me good. If we come back next year at the same time, the heavens would be saying the same thing as it relates to the sun and where it is. Not the moon, not the planets, the sun. If we come back the next year at the same day, same time, the sun will be in the same place. At least it would appear so. It would have moved a bit, but not enough for you to notice. But if we come back in 500 years, the sun would have moved several degrees. That's why the sun was here 300 years ago, and we came back 300 years after. The same day, the same time, and the sun is over here, catching up on the Gemini. So if you use an astrological chart, now I'm saying something. If you use an astrological chart from 500 years ago, it will be off by several degrees. And people who think their Cancer will be Leo, and people who think their Capricorn will be Sagittarius, because they're dealing with an old chart. They're not reading the heavens. Now to the question. Sister asked, Priest Isaac, if the sun is in Leo on the 23rd. Now, why would she say the sun is in Leo? Because even as Rastafari, we actually say that the king was born on the 23rd day of July, the beginning of the sign of Leo. So the sun is in Leo. We are correct. The king was born at the beginning of the sign of Leo. But it is a pseudo statement to say that the sun was in Leo. I have made that statement several times on radio in the early days coming in as Rastafari until I start to study it properly. So I was correct. The sun had a correspondence with Leo when the king was born, but the sun was not inside the constellation of Leo. It was on its way there. And that doesn't have to do with the movements of the heavens being off according to astrologers. No, that has to do with the understanding of how the horoscope works. I just explained that. So it doesn't take away, from the king being the Lion of Judah, born under the Lion of Judah sign. When it began, the sun was on the way to the lion. So it doesn't take it away at all, at all, at all. But I'm just showing you how the mechanics works, because the sun can't stand up in Leo for a whole month. So everybody that born between there can say, oh, the sun was in Leo. Ain't so it go. It was on its way to Leo. And then that's another thing. Depending on which end of the sign you were born, you may be the next sign. Because the heavens has been moving 1 degree every 72 years, the sun moves very deep. So again, this is where the sun will be, clear, straight up. This is where the sun will be on the 23rd day of July this year. This is the 23rd day of July this year. And this is exactly where the sun will be. It will be in Cancer. If it was 500 years ago, it would be more central Cancer. Why? Because 500 years ago, we were more central Aquarius age. Pisces age, pardon me, Pisces age. But now, the reason why it's coming out of Cancer is because we are coming out of the Pisces age, going into the Aquarius age. My brothers and sisters, it's going to be a next good 700 years, maybe 800, before we can say we are feeding off of at least a good balance of both ages. Because there's going to be a time when the sun is neither in Pisces nor Aquarius when it's rising on the 21st day of March. It will be actually in between. We will be feeding off of two ages. Don't be a rush to go into the Aquarius age when you can say, boy, I lived in the time when we were in both ages. That's a spirit too. That's a spirit too. But you see, we just following the master teacher. And this man said, and this man said, and this book said. Anyway, let's see it up. So the 23rd, this is the same day of the full moon. The 23rd day of July. And if the sun was in Leo, the full moon for real should be in Aquarius. And this is why when astrologers would say, for example, in this case, it's an Aquarius moon, I would ask, because I'm not an astrologer, do they mean that the moon, it's on its way to Aquarius? And ones will say, no, the moon is in Aquarius. Well, no, then they're wrong. And even in this case, if you were to say, well, yes, it means it's on its way to Aquarius, they're still wrong, because it's on its way to Capricorn. It's coming out of Sagittarius, and it's on its way to Capricorn. So let us look at the opposite side of the sky. Pardon me. We are now looking at the opposite side of the sky for the 23rd, and this will be the time of the full moon. Okay, now the heavens declare the glory. Now you notice the moon is a bit upside down here. Let me see if I can get it for you. All right, beautiful. So this is the full moon here. It's in Sagittarius. Look at here, this is Sagittarius. It's coming out of Sagittarius and it's going into Capricorn. And then after it comes out of Capricorn, it will go into Aquarius and it will meet Aquarius. This is the moon now. The moon has a different movement. It may come into Aquarius maybe 3-4 days after its full moon. But the full moon is not an Aquarius moon. The full moon is not an Aquarius moon. The full moon is a Sagittarius moon. Remember, this is the king earth, right? I have no problem with Aquarius at all. But Sagittarius, now, the archer. Remember the book of Revelation chapter 6 says that one came on a white horse. Look, the white horse over here, Capricorn. Don't mind the goat thing. Capricorn was also seen as a deer. You understand? Yes, sir. All right. So Capricorn now is also a unicorn. The white horse. That's why you see it here with the one horn. Don't mind, I have the goat pointed in this direction. That is actually the back here. And this is the face, the head, and that's the horn in Capricorn. Good. That's another thing. We've been studying how the stars look before they rearrange them with these new pictures and these new configurations. So I'm very honored that, I've been in this for so long to the point that this new stuff that they invent, I can go over it because I know how the original heavens were mapped out. But I'm showing you, this is the unicorn with the one horn. That's my point here. And the Revelation chapter 6 says that the man came on a white horse and he was given a bow, obviously bow and arrows. Revelation 6, read it, no man. It says when the first seal was open, the man that come out when the first seal was open, people would tell you that that's the Messiah. And he came on a white horse and he was given a bow. And he was given a crown. This is a crown in front of him. This is known as the Southern Crown. Corona Australis, the Southern Crown. There are two crowns in the heavens, the Southern Crown and the Northern Crown. The Northern Crown belonged to Marcus Garvey, Hercules. The northern crown belonged to Hercules, and the southern crown belonged to Sagittarius. And in between the two crowns is the tall man, the serpent holder, Ophiuchus, the tall man holding the serpent. How they draw him here, he don't have on no clothes, but he's a man with a turban and a robe. You see how they're disrespectful? Something wrapped around him. Is a snake that have wrapped around him with the little Greek mentality. But anyway, he has on a robe, a tall robe and a turban. That's how it looks in the ancient understanding. Even the Arabs saw the constellation as a man with a robe and turban. And he's holding a snake and standing on the scorpion. That's what's going on here. He's standing on the scorpion for the constellation of Archer to slew. See, Archer here have his arrow to slew the scorpion, and the serpent holder stands on the scorpion with the snake in his hand for Hercules, who has a sword in his hand. No matter how they draw it here, is a man with a sword in his hand. If you watch 7, we give you the original constellations. If you read our book, The Heavens Declare the Glory, you see the original constellations there properly, how they're really supposed to look in the stars. And you see Hercules with his crown. So both of these have crowns. There's a trinity working here, you know. It's a trinity working here. The heavens declare, you know. And interestingly, just as we talk about the opposite side, on the opposite side of this trinity is another trinity with father, mother, and child. And on the opposite side, 118, there's another trinity here of prophet, priest, and king. This is exactly what's happening here. So what I'm saying now, when you understand that's the fulfillment, Revelation 6, seen in the heavens, the man that came on the white horse. What they try to do now, they make Sagittarius a man and a horse. You understand? It's a man, if you understand the constellation itself of Sagittarius properly, it's a man, it's well mapped out. The man, this is his head here, and he has a feather in his hat. And this is the arrow and the bow. I'm not talking about the drawing. I'm talking about the stars. You follow me good? So the moon on the Emperor 129th Earth Day. The king don't even gone 130 yet. That man want to talk about the king dead. Should be ashamed of yourself. Yeah. So I'm saying, you can prove it. I don't mean no regular people, no rasses I talking. Imagine you have to tell a ras, prove it, when it comes to the king's livity. Imagine you have to tell a ras to prove it. And they can't prove it now. They'll tell you, well, I can't prove it now, but man needs to get out of that Bible thing. What Bible thing you talking about? Mapampi, Israel in Dominica lived to be 127. What are you talking about? Yo, just give me the time. The King of Kings we're dealing with, you know. Nobody even know where he gone. And I must just believe that? Shame. Yeah. So when the king, you know, Saturn will be in Capricorn at that time. The moon is in Sagittarius, and Saturn will be in Capricorn for all you Saturn lovers. You check it. So the king on his horse, the fulfillment of that, you know, on the 129th Earth Day, and this is a Sabbath moon. This is a Sabbath full moon. So this is why you see we defend these things strong. If it's anything with Aquarius, Jupiter in Aquarius, but the moon is in Sagittarius going into Capricorn. It is not in Aquarius. And we already highlighted that with the astrologyking.com, where the editor clearly showed that we as astrologers, yes, we are seeing the moon as an Aquarius moon, but it's not really there. It's in Sagittarius. So why is that now? If you really study in conclusion, all of what I just said, family, I know I just went through a lot. I know I just went through a lot. But again, reading the stars and where planets are and where this moon is and where that moon is, and telling people this is how it applies to your life, I consider that a very serious thing. That's almost like you go into the doctor and they're prescribing medicine for you. And if they give you the wrong medicine, it's gonna be trouble. I'm not here to fight nobody, you know. And people saying I fighting astrologers, I ain't fighting nobody, and it's not even the astrologers I really talking to. I'm talking to all of you that follow astrologers. Yeah, I know you follow them and burn incense and the star and Sirius, this and that and that. And the Nether Age and the Neverlims and all kind of things. All right, nice stuff. You know, I into enough things myself, but I into the facts. I into reality. So I'm just showing you, take your time. You know, don't be just following anybody that look pretty and come and talk and feel like, yeah, this star and look at my numbers here and they put on a nice magic hat and they come with the magic wand. Nah, man. The heavens does declare the glory, but it ain't no spooky business. It's a real story. It's a real glory, you know. And where moon and sun and star are really means something. But when the whole world of astrology telling you opposite, and why? You could see why. Because we are using old mechanics, old charts, old time, 500 years old charts. So everything off, everything out of whack. And then there's still a lack of understanding of exactly how it works. And whatever book we read, and we can add numbers. You see, I'm not a number adder. I don't see a man add numbers. When you're born, whatever date you get them, they add all the numbers in your year. They add the numbers in the dates and then put everything together and then add it until they come to one number. So, oh, you're a number 7. I'm a 7 too. And 7 is my number. 7 is everybody. Hey, the feeling all right. You don't know your brethren love you. Anyway, I'm not going to hold you no more. Yeah, looking forward to Chalice Talk as well. In a moment, yeah, we have, you know, the one Prophet Daniel with us. Prophet Jeff are talking about Ras Ija Star mindset. Definitely will be with us as well. And the fullness thereof. And the Honorable Prophet Sheldon will also be in the house with us. So we'll be having a wonderful time. Yes, as we glorify as well, give thanks even for the upcoming Earth Day of the Negus Negas, King of Kings, Emperor Haile Selassie the first. So this is the astrologer chart there, you know. Yeah. So yeah, make sure you get your young ones enroll into the Institute's International Homeschool Cosmic classes, man. So when they grow up, they ain't got no astrologer bamboozling them and telling them this and that will not gossip. And this moon in that moon, look, they're laughing at them, man. This moon in that constellation and all of these different things. And I want to reiterate, we're not depending on a chart. We can look with our eyes into the sky, especially when it's night, and see with our eyes. I mean, maybe we need to do a live program and get some high-tech equipment for the 23rd so we can point the telescope camera to the sky and say, you see, look where the moon is. Look, Aquarius over there. This is an Aquarius star. Look, the moon over there. How much degrees? Give you the azimuth and everything so one could understand that astrology is off. Straight up. That's all. If done. Yeah, so definitely you know how to contact us, precise@27@gmail.com, precise@27@gmail.com, and of course, enroll your young ones and yourself. I would encourage you to enroll yourself into the international homeschool classes. Oh, yes, and while you're at it, remember the shock of our international radio program. Definitely you want to be a part of that as well. All right, let us prepare for the Sabbath day, and of course, Chalice Talk on the way. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Blessed love.